So if you go to study to any country, or even if you plan to work in any country, one of the first things that you want to think about is, how do I settle over there? Now for the UK, this system is known as the ILR, which is equivalent to the PR in several other countries such as Canada or any other place. So if you are interested in getting your ILR in the UK, which stands for indefinite leave to remain, these are some of the things that you are not meant to be doing in the years while you study or work in the UK. Now, if you already haven't followed me on Instagram, now's your turn to do so. But let's dive into today's content about what are the things that you do not need to do to get your UK ILR. The absolute first thing that you need to remember is, please do not overwork than the number of hours that are recommended on your visa. Now, for those of y'all who are not aware, even if you are on the health and care worker visa, which most of us are, and I highly recommend that if you are a healthcare professional, please go for this visa if you cover under this. But if you haven't already known which professions get covered under it, what are the requirements for this visa, do have a look at this video because it gives you all of that information in detail. But right now, as it stands, whether you're on the skilled worker visa or the health and care worker visa, you can work only up to 20 hours within your visa category additionally as compared to your full-time pay. So that just means that, for example, right now I am employed under the NHS and I work for a full-time position, which is 37.5 hours. I am then only allowed to work up to 20 hours additionally. Now, this 20 hours will also include things like bank work, weekend shifts, if it is not covered in your full-time position, or any other private work that you might be doing. So please keep this in mind, guys, and make sure that you do not overwork. Now, I know another question that would come in everybody's mind is, Nikita, how would they know that I'm overworking? And the reason I state that you shouldn't be doing this is because the HMRC is in very close ties with the UK Home Office. So for example, when you actually go in to submit your ILR, they will ask you for pay slips and they will check your bank accounts. So even if they've seen that a particular employer has paid you, they will most likely question it, and that might be one of the reasons why you will not get your ILR, because you haven't followed the requirements stated on your work visa, which is stating only 20 additional hours of work. Now again, if you are a student, you are allowed to do 20 hours of work during term time and up to full-time positions during term holidays, that is Christmas, Easter, etc. But please be careful, guys, that you do not overshoot this period. Now, one of the second biggest reasons why people tend to get deported or why people are not granted their ILR is accessing public funds. Now, if you see the BRP, which is the biometric residence permit that is granted to you either when you come on your student visa, work visa, or even change to your PSW, you will see very clearly that it is written at the back of the BRP saying you are not allowed to access public funds. Now, as you can see on your screen right there, so public funds include several benefits that are offered to the UK people, which includes income-based job seeker allowance, income support, child tax credit, universal credit, child benefit, housing benefit, so on and so forth. If you want this entire list, I will leave the link for that in the description box below. But make sure, guys, that when you come on any visa in the UK, you do not access any of these benefits, simply because when you submit your ILR application, they will ask you if you have taken any of the benefits from the UK government, and they will ask you to submit proof for that. And again, I know some of you will be really clever and say, Nikita, I don't need to mention this on my application and I will be fine. But the truth is, no. The UK Home Office will obviously do all of its sort of digging around into who you are, what access you've had to public funds, simply because, think about it, guys, the UK immigration right now is at a very high standard and they're looking to curb it. And one of the ways they can do that is obviously by not granting PR to all of the people who are applying for it. So if you've made a mistake, the UK Home Office is going to come cracking down on you and not give you your PR. Third major reason for you to not be granted your ILR or your PR in the UK is criminal offences. Now, everything under the sun, whether you're going into prison or you have a lawsuit against you where they have determined that you are guilty, can count under criminal offences. Now, again, if you are a healthcare professional, there is something that they do which is known as DBS, that is a disclosure barring certificate. And this is sort of done whenever you join a new employer in the NHS. And again, if they find any criminal offences against you, your DBS will mark it down, and it is highly likely that you might not be allowed to continue in your work as a healthcare professional, because obviously they do not trust that you are capable of providing good healthcare services, considering the fact that you do have a criminal offense. So this can be one of the other reasons why you might not be given your ILR in the UK if you do have any criminal offenses against you. I know a lot of people will also be like, Nikita, even things like shoplifting, is that considered to be a criminal offense? And I would say absolutely. The things like shoplifting, fare evasion for trains, buses, etc., not paying up when you are required to, all of these can come under criminal offenses. And please, as an international student and as an international person living in the UK, I would highly recommend that you stay away from all of this, and please keep your record nice and clean, because it shows that you have really good character when you go in to apply for your ILR and for your PR in the UK. The next reason why many ILR applications get rejected is taxes. Now, while you are aware that UK is one of the countries that has the highest taxes in the world, and obviously many of us fall within those tax brackets in one way or the other, a lot of us, especially people who have YouTube channels, who take on additional work, or even who might be working extra bank shifts, need to submit something known as a self-assessment form. Now, even when I was looking into it, thinking about obviously my YouTube and things like that, I was concerned about, do I need to declare this income? And I met somebody who has obviously been here a lot of years, and they were like, oh, because you're not even making a lot of income, it's fine for you to not declare these taxes. But let me inform you right there that you need to stop and hold on. If you earn less than £1,000 through any additional income or side hustle or second job, then that's fine. You cannot declare taxes. But I would advise you, even if you earn less than £1,000 or more than £1,000, please go ahead and declare those taxes to the UK government and to the HMRC. You can submit something known as a self-assessment form, and I will leave the link for that in the description box below. If you have questions about it, let me know, because this is something really important. For any reason, if you are required to pay taxes, at least the HMRC is aware about it and they will let you know about it. If not, they might even file something known as a tax evasion on you, and that can put you in serious trouble in the UK. So please guys, please be aware that there is something known as a self-assessment form, and even if you are a YouTuber doing Deliveroo, or even if you are doing additional shifts or doing private work, please make sure that you do submit something known as a self-assessment form for yourself. Finally, one of the last reasons for your UK application to not be considered for PR is providing fake information. Now, when you submit any application to the UK government, whether it's your student visa, PSW, work visa, or even renewal for work visa, there are high number of chances that you might be able to, maybe submit some wrong information. But I would say if you do that by mistake, please always make sure that you correct your applications and make sure that you're providing correct information to the UK government. Because down the line, when you go into the ILR, think about it this way. You've submitted your student application today and it has some wrong information on it. The UK government, when it picks up your application at the ILR or the PR stage, it will look at all of your applications, all of your past history, and it will say, oh, this point was a discrepancy earlier. Can you explain why this was not suitable or not appropriate right now? And then you will have to provide a written information of why there was that discrepancy and how it's been resolved. So I would say, to avoid all of this mess, please make sure that you provide correct information at all of the different stages during your UK processes, whether it's at student visa, PSW, work visa, renewal of work visa, or at the ILR stage. Even information related to dependents, make sure you've mentioned exactly the correct information for all of your dependents as well. And this brings me to the last point, which is not extending your visa. Now again, me being an Indian, I know that there are several ways that people do jugaad and get around these things. But again, if you are somebody who's in the UK, you will have a date on your BRP, which is your biometric residence permit, of when your visa expires. Please make sure that you submit a new visa application in time before your visa expires. And the reason for this is you need to manage to stay legally in the UK in order to be eligible for your ILR. So for example, if your PSW expires within 2 years, make sure that you get a work visa job which is sponsoring your visa and apply for that before your PSW expires. Similarly with your work visa, because work visas are issued usually for up to 3 years in the UK, up to 3 years in the NHS. Make sure that when you're reaching that sort of mark for 3 years, you've reached out to your HR and they've issued you a course stating that they are willing to extend your visa for you. Please make sure, guys, that you do not have any mistakes in terms of your visa. I know it's very easy to forget all about this considering you have loads of work. You're really busy in your lives in the UK. But make sure that you're always aware about the visa and the expiry when you are in the UK. I hope this video was useful, guys. Do let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions. But that's it for today's video. Take care. Bye.